In this video, I'm going to tell you what I think are 7 beauty mistakes that we shouldn't be making as we age. So let's talk about the ways that we can make the best of ourselves and how some of the beauty mistakes we're making right now can really age us. And stay till the end where I reveal the 7th mistake that I myself have made and corrected. Now, some of these mistakes may be very controversial and you may think that I'm talking absolute BS. And of course, you're quite within your rights to disagree with me vehemently. So without further ado, let's start with number 1. Now, I think that wearing too little makeup is a beauty mistake and one that we can rectify. Now, you might think, so what if women don't wear any makeup? It's their right not to wear any. And I have plenty of friends who don't wear any makeup. And that's absolutely fine. What I'm talking about is where women wear just a little makeup. They sort of tinker around the edges. They might wear a little bit of lipstick, but in a kind of half-hearted way. For example, they might wear lipstick and blusher, but they don't wear any eyeshadow or mascara. Or sometimes I've even seen women wearing eyeshadow but no mascara. And it just doesn't look put together. It looks half-hearted, it looks half done. It can make your features disappear or make parts of your features look too prominent. Now, as we age, we have bone loss, we lose collagen, we lose elastin, and that can make some of our features disappear and others look more prominent. Now, I've really noticed this because my nose definitely looks more prominent than it used to. And so I think wearing some makeup, but maybe not in the best way, doesn't really help our features to look at their best. Now, as we know, sometimes just wearing a red lip, and I have a friend who does this, just wearing a red lip and nothing else can look fantastic. But she wears it with confidence. She knows what she's doing and it looks fantastic on her. But I think you have to have that self-confidence and that understanding of why you're wearing what you're wearing, rather than just applying makeup because you think you should, or you're a little bit nervous about it and you're not quite sure what to do. So how to solve this problem? Well, it really isn't that difficult. If you watch YouTube, you know there are some fantastic resources, including mine, where you can learn how to put makeup on and feel confident in it. And just use, for example, a little bit of foundation, a little bit of mascara, and a little bit of lipstick, and a little bit of blusher. You don't need to overcomplicate it with lots of different eyeshadows, huge eyeshadow palettes. And I'll pop some videos in the description box below so that you've got some resources to have a look at if you feel that you're wearing too little makeup and it's not serving you. And actually, I think it would be a really exciting journey to go on to play around with makeup, to learn how to use it. And I'm still learning. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just a woman in her late 60 who loves to play with makeup. So that leads me very nicely on to mistake number 2, wearing too much makeup. Now, this is quite easy to do, I would say, and I know I've been guilty of it myself. I have worn very harsh brows of late, and my lovely viewers have told me this and told me in the nicest possible way that I ought to try and soften my brows and not wear such a dark brow colour. And so I've taken their advice and I think they're right. But what I'm really talking about is layering it on with a trowel almost. It really doesn't serve us as we age because it just looks unnatural. And what we want to do is enhance our features. We don't want to layer on makeup because we think we've got blemishes or brown spots or pigmentation issues or lesions, which I've got actually, including some lovely ones here, which are sun damage. We don't want that. What we want is to enhance our features in the best way possible, and that is not going to be served by layering on the makeup. Now, I know the temptation is, because we've just talked about bone loss and loss of collagen, loss of elastin, we feel that we need to somehow put that back by adding more makeup. That really isn't the way to go. Yes, we want to make our eyes pop, that's for sure, but layering on lots of different eyeshadows, highlighter under the brow bone, and then a different colour in the crease, and then another colour on the lid, liner, top and bottom, none of that is going to serve us. Yes, some of it can, but not all at once, not all together. And again, YouTube has some fantastic resources on how to look younger with makeup. Of course, I have some as well, and I will link those down below for you. Now, actually, interestingly, if you have a YouTube channel like I do, you do have to think quite carefully about what looks good on camera. And you'll see the picture that I've put up of the 3 fantastic actresses at Cannes. You will see that they have quite a lot of makeup on, but that's because they're going on the red carpet. They are going to be photographed. they'll no doubt have had some fantastic makeup artists making them up beforehand, but actually in the harsh light of day, the makeup doesn't look great and you can see how much they've got on, and that really doesn't serve us in our day-to-day lives. So the way to solve too much makeup is just to dial it down, to go back to basics, to think about the best way of enhancing your features, and taking some advice from some fantastic makeup artists here on YouTube, like Lisa Eldridge and Risa Does Makeup. Now, number 3 in the beauty mistakes that I think women are making, and this is going to be super controversial, I know, is having a tattoo or several tattoos. Where to start with this? Now, I grew up in the 50s and 60s where tattoos were really only seen and worn by burly blokes, for want of a better expression. And they might have mum or the name of their wife or girlfriend on their biceps. And that was about it. Then in the 80s, Paula Yates, who some of you will remember, who was a wonderful TV presenter, married to Bob Geldof, she got a tattoo on her arm, and I think it was a rose, I can't remember exactly. And I remember thinking, ooh, that's rather nice, because it was quite discreet, it wasn't huge. But in the last sort of 20 years or so, I think it's David Beckham actually, let's blame him, tattoos have been such a thing. And I just don't understand it. I really don't. Now, I have to say, one of my close friends does have a tattoo, and she has it on her wrists here. And she's got 3 little birds, and they're to remind her of her children. And they are beautiful. But I have to say, I don't understand, firstly, why people think that blue ink on skin, whether it's black, brown or white skin, looks attractive. It's just not, for me, aesthetically pleasing at all. And now, of course, in the last sort of 20 years, as I say, since Beckham got his tattoos up, I think he probably started with one arm and now he's absolutely covered in them, even his neck. I just don't understand the concept of it at all. I really don't. Now, I'd love to know in the comments what you think. Yes, a little discreet tattoo here and there might be fine. It's not for me. But why would you want to have your arms covered or your neck or even your face? It's there forever and a day, and you can never do anything about it. The wonderful thing about makeup is you can take it off. You can put it on, take it off, put it on again, take it off again. But with a tattoo, yes, you can have them removed or you can go through the removal process, but it's a massive issue. It's a massive expense. It takes a hell of a long time, and it really isn't an easy process at all. So if you've never had a tattoo and you're thinking of having one, I would say stop. Really consider whether this is what you want to do to your body. And if you're going to have one, if you absolutely want to have one because there's a milestone birthday or whatever it is, then have it somewhere discreet so that only you know you've got it, or maybe your partner as well. Don't have it full face, arms, neck, chest. It just completely destroys any aesthetic that you might be trying to achieve with your outfits. I think that's probably all I'll say now, because I'm sure I'm going to get lots of flack for saying this. But after all, this is just my opinion. And of course, I'm completely open to any comments you have on this subject. Right, number 4 in my beauty mistakes and how to fix them is being too tanned. Now, if you were born in the 50s or 60s, you will probably have tanned to the nth degree, because we all did. I was lucky enough to be quite a dark-skinned girl, and you can see my arm, I think, how it compares to my face, and that's because I did get a bit of colour when I was away in the Caribbean recently. But back in the day, I would just be out in the sun all day. There was no such thing as SPF. We just wore this Ambre Solaire oil. In fact, it was to attract the sun. It was to make us browner, not to protect us in any way at all. And so I used to get very, very dark indeed. And it's only probably in the last sort of 20 years that I've stopped tanning myself, as it were, as we used to call it. I don't think I ever went on a sunbed, or maybe once or twice. And I've never used self-tan, but that's because I didn't need it. I just used to go very brown. Now, happily, I don't think it's made a massive difference to my skin. But I think if you are fairer than me, then tanning yourself to the nth degree is really not a good idea, and it's not a good look anyway. Now, that's something you can correct, of course, by not tanning yourself, by not sitting in the sun. Now, as I say, you can see the difference between my arm and my complexion because I didn't sit out in the sun. I wore an SPF, I wore a hat, I stayed in the shade. I mean, I got a bit of a tan on my body, but really I didn't make an effort to lie in it at all. I think I sat out in the sun for about 10 minutes a day, slathered in SPF, off just to get a little bit of colour, because of course we all like it. And what I should probably do if I wanted to get a bit of colour on my face is to use tanning drops. The problem is the tanning drops that I've looked at all have fragrance in them. But if you're not allergic to fragrance, use tanning drops to get some colour onto your face. Or of course just use a bronzer, which is so much easier. And I did take a bronzer on holiday and I did use it. So I highly recommend, don't sit in the sun. You've absolutely no need to. Your complexion will look beautiful without it. If you want to look sun-kissed, use some bronzer or try some tanning drops. Number 5 in my beauty mistakes and how to fix them is wearing piercings. I mean, I know we're in a similar ballpark to the tattoos here, but again, I do not understand piercings on the face apart from your ears. Now, I know I've got pierced ears. I've had pierced ears since I was 11, actually, because I was sold this old wives' tale, or I think I tried to sell my mother the old wives' tale at 11, that having your ears pierced could improve your eyesight. And she fell for it. But actually, they then went septic and I had to have them taken out. And then I couldn't have them for years until I was about 18, I think. Now, I've only ever had the classic piercing. I've never had more than one. I have thought about having maybe more than one. And I think they can look really attractive. But I'm talking about piercings elsewhere on your face. Yes, okay, a nose ring at a pinch. A little diamond piercing, a little tiny one, can look very attractive. Some people like it, and I understand that. But why you would want loads of other piercings, like tongue piercings and piercings here and here? Why do people think it's attractive? And aren't you worried about catching it on something? That's what I would always think. If you had a ring, like here and your nose, what if you want to blow it? And the other thing is, I think it can look quite aggressive. But again, I'm prepared to be called out on this, so please let me know in the comments what you think. And of course, the way to fix this issue is just to have them taken out. Number 6 in my beauty mistakes and how to fix them is wearing your hair too short. Very short hair can look fantastic on women. Think of Jamie Lee Curtis. But there is a type of haircut that women in their 50s, 60s and 70s seem to think they have to have. And you will see the images on the screen. It's such an unflattering look on women. It's a little pointy bit, and then this sort of slightly bouffant bit here. Why do hairdressers cut hair like this on women? I just don't understand it. They'd be so much better growing it a little bit to soften your features, because again, we've talked about how our features can look a bit harsh in that our noses can look more prominent and the rest of our features kind of sink back. Why do we think that having this sort of haircut is going to enhance our features? I really don't think it does. I think Jamie Lee Curtis looks fantastic in it. I've got a couple of friends who have very short hair, but they've really thought about how they want their hair to look. They haven't just gone to the hairdresser and say, give me a short haircut because I'm an older woman, which is what seems to happen. Or the hairdressers just sell it to them and say, this is the haircut you need. And so they live with it. You really don't need to have that sort of haircut. Please trust me. And I would consider, unless you really feel confident in short hair, just think about growing it a little because it might help to soften your features. So the way to fix this is to let it grow just a little bit and see how it looks. And go onto Pinterest and put in short haircuts for women over 50 and just see what you find. And see if you can find some short haircuts that are just a little bit longer, a little bit softer. I mean, of course, it also depends entirely on the type of hair you've got. And my hair is very fine and doesn't really suit very short hair because I would have to style it to the nth degree every single day. So you can fix this beauty mistake by switching up your haircut to a softer style. And finally, beauty mistake number 7, and one that I have been guilty of for the last 4 years, and that's growing my hair too long. Now, I didn't have my hair cut during lockdown for about 2 years, I think, and then I only had a little bit cut off, like maybe an inch or 2 over the last 2 years. But finally, I came to my senses and I had the chop, and let me just show you how long or short it is now compared to how it was, and you can see in the images I'm showing you. Now my hair is quite fine, there's quite a bit of it, but it's very fine, and the longer it got, the stragglier it got. It really did look awful by the end of it. It looked like rat's tails, and I'm not sure it was growing all that much anyway. And then I'd have to style it by waving it because the ends just didn't look attractive at all. And eventually I just thought, do you know what, I've really got to go for it. I've really got to have it chopped off, or at least quite a bit of it chopped off. I think I just needed a refresh and a change. But I'm so pleased I had it cut. I was sort of wedded to this thing. I must have long hair. I've always had this. I think because my mother, when I was much younger, I never used to comb my hair, and she'd find these sort of, as she called them, kind of bird's nests of tangles underneath my hair. So she made me have it all cut off. And then I used to go to bed at night and dream that I was Tressie the doll. I don't know if any of you had Tressie. She had a belly button that you could press, and then you could pull her hair out of the top of her head, and it was all long. And I used to dream that I could wake up in the morning and my hair would be long. So I've always had this thing about long hair, but honestly, it just doesn't suit me. It was doing me no favours at all. Now, interestingly, Helen Mirren has long hair. She's grown her hair long, and she's talked about having it long and talked about older women having long hair and why not. And absolutely why not, if that's what you want to do. But I'm just going to suggest to you that there are some of us who don't suit very long hair, and I'll tell you for why. So it's firstly about the type of hair you've got, and I'm not sure Helen Mirren's hair is all that great either. It looks a little bit like mine in that it's not terribly thick. You can see in the image that the ends of her hair are quite straggly. But I think if you've got thicker hair, then it can look fantastic. Another reason why I think long hair doesn't suit a lot of women is it can enhance your jowls. In the same way that having very, very short hair will make your jowls look more prominent, if you've got jowls, of course, very long hair can also do that, and it can make your face look long and saggy. So I think if you've got hair like mine, if you've got thin hair that is looking a bit straggly, consider having a shorter haircut, maybe as long as mine, maybe a little bit shorter even, which is going to enhance your face and frame it rather than pulling it down, which I think some long hairstyles can do. Certainly that's what was happening with mine. And honestly, I've had quite a lot of people say to me, I look younger with this new hairstyle. So I think it has worked for me. Of course, it's not going to work for everybody. And some women can look, as I say, fantastic with long hair. And I envy them. I would like to look fantastic with long hair, but I think this hairstyle is definitely more me. So there you have it. Those are my 7 beauty mistakes and how to fix them. Now, I am sure you are going to want to comment in the comment section. I hope you do, because I think it would be really interesting to have a dialogue about these 7 beauty mistakes. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you've enjoyed this video and found it thought-provoking, I would love it if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. And if you'd like to hear more from me, I have a monthly newsletter, and the link to subscribe to that will be in the description box below. And in that, I don't just talk about beauty and fashion, but I also talk about music, books, podcasts, films, and other bits and bobs that enhance our lives. And thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye!